One day, the wind and the sun were having a conversation when suddenly they began to argue about who was more powerful. "I am the most powerful," the wind said confidently. "No way, I am the stronger one," the sun replied. The wind began to boast. "I can blow down the biggest trees, I can push enormous ships across the ocean. I create storms, tornadoes, and even blizzards." The sun calmly responded, "Oh really? Well, I can melt all the snow on the mountains. I can dry up a huge lake. I can even make the ground so hot it can cook an egg." Both believed they were truly the stronger one, and neither wanted to back down. As they argued, they noticed a man walking along the road below. It was cold, and the man was wearing a thick winter coat, zipped all the way up. Immediately, the wind came up with an idea. "Let's have a contest to see who can make that man take off his coat first. Whoever does it wins, and proves who is truly more powerful." The sun smiled and agreed. The contest began. After they agreed, the wind went first. He started by blowing a strong, cold gust toward the man walking on the road. The wind thought if he made the weather cold enough, the man would quickly take off his coat. But the opposite happened. The man shivered from the cold and immediately zipped his coat even higher, pulled his hood up and said, "Brrr! It's freezing today!" Not giving up, the wind decided to get even stronger. He blew colder, sharper winds, bringing in dark clouds and rain. But instead of taking his coat off, the man held onto it more tightly. Soon, the rain turned into snow. The man looked up in surprise. "Huh? Snow?" The weather forecast didn't say anything about snow today. He pulled his hood down lower and tightened his collar to keep the snow from getting in. The wind gave it everything he had, sending the strongest gust he could. But no matter what, the man had no intention of removing his coat. On the contrary, he zipped it all the way up to his nose and thought to himself, "A snowstorm must be coming." The wind sighed, feeling helpless. Despite using all its strength, the wind couldn't make the man change at all. Finally, the wind admitted, "This is impossible!" Just as the wind gave up, the sun gently said, "Now it's my turn." After the wind gave up, it was the sun's chance to show her power. But unlike the wind's intense and forceful approach, the sun chose a gentle and warm way. First, she shined soft rays of sunlight to melt the snow the wind had created. The sky cleared, the clouds drifted apart, and warm golden sunlight streamed down. The man walking along the road felt the difference. The bitter cold was gone. He slowly lowered his hood and loosened his coat. The sun continued to shine, still calm and steady. The air warmed gradually, like a pleasant spring day. The man looked up and exclaimed, "How strange! The weather here really changes quickly." Then he pulled his zipper down further, revealing the inner layer of his clothes. Seeing this, the sun smiled and gently wiggled her fingers to raise the temperature a little more. Not long after, the air felt as hot as summer. The man began to sweat. He wiped his forehead and let out a deep breath. "Wow, now it's as hot as midsummer!" Finally, he took off his thick coat completely, folded it up and carried it in his arms. Finding a cool patch of green grass by the road, he lay down to rest in the warm, gentle sunshine. The sun beamed with pride and said, "I win!" After the man took off his coat and lay down to relax under the warm sunlight, the sun smiled in satisfaction. The contest was over and the result was clear. The sun was stronger. But what made that victory wasn't fierce power or force. It was warmth, gentleness, and patience. The story's lesson isn't just in the result, but also in the way each side acted. The wind, with all its force and aggression, tried to make the man obey by pushing him. But the harder it blew, the more the man resisted and clung to his coat. Harshness brought no success, only more resistance. Meanwhile, the sun chose a calm and patient approach. No pressure, no demands, just a pleasant atmosphere that made the man willingly take off his coat. It was this warmth that truly touched the person. This story carries a meaningful lesson. Sometimes gentleness and patience can achieve what strength and pressure cannot. In life, we don't always need to use force or authority to get what we want. Understanding, warmth and subtlety can be even more powerful tools. The sun won not just because of her heat, but because she knew how to use it wisely. And that is true strength. Moral, warmth and gentleness can sometimes be more effective than strength and force.